Hello, 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 everybody. How are we all doing? I'm hoping that doing is doing good. That would be absolutely spectacular if that's the case. That's the wrong one. There we go. I'm doing pretty good myself. Looking forward to the last... 1 second, I'm going to do some maths, and it's not my strong suit. 33 hours from about now of the transfer window, and then it's 34 if you add on the one that is like deal sheets and stuff. And we've got a lot of stuff to discuss because there's a hell of a lot of conversations going on about a hell of a lot of players where various things are going on. I've asked a question in the poll asking how many deals people think we'll do. Currently, the numbers are varying a bit. We've got a couple of votes, well, 2 votes for none, 3 votes for 1, and a bunch of votes for 2. But keep your votes rolling in, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Andrew Frost, for becoming a member, by the way. That was much appreciated. Doing it before the stream as well, that was a nice surprise. Righteous One is smelling the money. Danny's voted for none, just the one for Righteous One, and Orange Raider is shouting potato. And honestly, completely fair enough. But yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about a bunch of different stories that are going on at the minute, and we are going to dive in a little bit further into fun bits of transfer news and talk about the plan for tomorrow. The plan for tomorrow is going to be a little bit nuts, a little bit fun. That was a little bit confusing. Sorry about that. I've got the Leeds women's match on in the background, so I guess this is also sort of technically a watch-along, which is kind of fun. Pigeons align indeed, Danny. But we are going to get directly into the stories if we can, and if anyone has any questions about any of the stories that we're learning more and more about, chuck them in the chat, and we will happily discuss every single one of them. We can also talk about the Cardiff match if you guys fancy, but I figured, given the day, people's attention aren't going to be on Cardiff. People's attention is going to be on who's going to be here for Coventry. Someone that isn't going to be here for Coventry is Kelechi Iheanacho. This is one of the stories that have been hovering around a little bit. One of those sort of annoying ones where you're like, this is definitely not true, but someone has talked to the right journalist and that sort of built up the story a little bit. The thing, holy... Thank you very much, Locks, Blue Tinted Glasses, for gifting 5 memberships. That's much appreciated. Is this your way of becoming a Leeds United fan so things feel significantly better for you next season? Thank you, by the way. That's so much. That's really, really kind. And said membership's going to Chopper Dave, Luke, Oliver, or you over here, and Jamie Tobin. So thank you very much. But Iheanacho, one of Locks' personal favourites, actually, was linked with Leeds United for a little bit. And from the very start, like Locks can confirm, that I specifically said to him, this doesn't feel like a thing. Can you tell me a little bit more about him? And Locks' response was effectively, yeah, he needs to be like at his best to be worth your while. And it feels like that is absolutely not going to be a thing that happens for us. Partially because he's having a medical over at Middlesbrough. And this is one of those situations where I don't mind it in the slightest. The entire story felt like Sevilla and Victor are working there when we need to sort of sack off Iheanacho. Let's have conversations with various people and see what links we can force to happen. It felt like Leeds United were one of said links, but it was never realistically going to happen. Things will actually feel much better next year for us than this year. This is what I'm saying. Like, if you go down, you win games of football, and it feels fantastic. I'm sure on the financial side it's not great, and on the FFP side, it's going to look a little bit spooky on your end. But things are significantly more fun when you win games of football, and the hope is if we do go up, we are able to win some games of football rather than what's going on with that. But let's be honest, the Iheanacho thing, I don't think was ever a proper link. It never seemed properly reliable or something that could be trusted, and is something that I think we can completely ignore. I'll be completely honest with you. Some of the players that look like they are on the verge of leaving the club include Jeremiah Mullen and Chris Moore. Jeremiah Mullen was a youth player that was coming through and looking really good. Same for Chris Moore, both at centre-back, but both seem to be going to Scotland. Contracts are running out, and rather than the club sort of saying, well, if your contract runs out, I'm sure you can find somewhere, it feels like the club are actively trying to support our players in making these moves, which is a really, really nice thing for them to do. We'll also get a small fee out of it, which would be really, really nice, because I feel like past owners wouldn't have thought to do this and gotten any money out of it, but we're working our way around that, and I think this is a good sort of move in the right direction for us. Now we are on to... Wait, not quite. In 1 second, we'll be on to the stories of the players that are potentially coming in. Thank you very much, by the way, Lux. That would be very, very nice if that is doable. I'm hoping that I can head things in the right direction if we do go up, but we'll have to find out. That's fine. But there's one more player that is not currently at Elland Road that will not be at Elland Road, and none of us are going to mind it in the slightest. Jack Harrison, formerly known as Jackie Haradonna, at Everton, looking, frankly, horrific at the minute. Like, he's done very little. He's played, I think, 19 games this season and not got a single goal involvement. Don't know how he's doing for minutes, but I think 19 appearances is probably enough to have done something on the pitch by this point. I'm just going to double check. 1,000 minutes, and he's done literally nothing. Going really well for him. There was a little bit of conversation about him potentially leaving Everton. At the moment, it looks like we wouldn't really accept him back because he's not worth our while to deal with all of that crap. But there was word of Fulham having some interest in signing Jack Harrison on loan, which is a really, really positive thing for us, because that means that even if Everton are like, nope, we're terminating that there, let's call it a day, at least we've got something heading in the right direction. I'm just going to see how much Harrison's played this season, actually, under David Moyes. No, to be fair, no, he got 3 minutes yesterday. Never mind. Yeah, he seems like the sort of player that they will probably let go. He's not a key player to their side, and honestly, he wouldn't be key to ours either. I think our current wingers are all better than Jack Harrison, so it's good. Just quickly going through the comments once more. Yo, Black Badge. I still don't know whether I call you your name, or I call you Yo-Yo, or I call you Black Badge, but it's fine. Iheanacho off to borrow a good sign we missed out on that. We didn't miss out there at all. If Lux is still here, Lux will be able to confirm that I don't think Iheanacho would have been a fantastic signing for us to sort of take us through the rest of the season. He plays a Gilavogi role. Yeah, it's a really good role to be playing if you are a 28-year-old winger looking to make your career continue. He's been playing NDIA. Yeah, I noticed that, and I was sort of like, well, does that mean Harrison isn't playing? But apparently that is the case. But we then have to discuss the potential moves in, and there are several players that are linked with coming in, and all of whom I think are fairly interesting in their own ways and could potentially set us in the right direction. So, first up, I'm going to start with one that is a sort of loosey-goosey link that doesn't seem 100% strong, and it's Mark. I can't remember how to pronounce his surname, so I'm going to Google it, and if I get it wrong, you can laugh at me. A bit of me wants to say gooey, but I know it's not going to be gooey. We'll get into it. Let's share screen. Which one is it? It's this one. Hey, there we go.
Pronunciation guide, where we look at how to pronounce better some of the most mispronounced words in the world, like this other curious word. But how do you say what you're looking for today?
Croissant.
Yes, this name confuses a lot of people. He's a Spanish professional footballer that currently plays at Barcelona, Athletic Barcelona. Marc Guiu. Yes, not Guiu. Guiu, okay? So G-U-I is Guy, and then the U is U.
Marc Guiu.
Guiu is how they say it in Spain. So in English, Marc Guiu.
Marc Guiu.
Marc Guiu.
Marc Guiu.
Here are more videos.
There we go. That'll do it. We have been linked a little bit with Marc Guiu, which is interesting. The word was it would probably be on loan because, of course, Chelsea paid quite a bit of money for him, and he's not a genuinely bad player. So I'm going to bring up his numbers. FB Raf is going to be doing a hell of a job today. I am deeply sorry, website. So he's mainly been playing in the Europa Conference League for Chelsea, which is completely fair enough. Like, I understand it. But the way that Chelsea managed their squad this season was some of their main players, they didn't register for the Conference League because they were saying, we'll focus a little bit more on the Premier League, and then in the later stages of the Conference League, that's where you can start playing. He's played 6 times this season so far in the Conference League, 283 minutes, and he's scored 6 goals. He is genuinely a very, very good player. And it feels a little bit weird that at the minute, he's sort of not doing much, and that won't help his development at all. So it feels like he's likely to sort of look for a move somewhere. But the general conversation around whether or not he would make a move to Leeds United was no, not really. He's been linked with various clubs at the minute. Where's this blooming link? There we go. The Sun on Sunday did a report connecting Leeds with a move for Marc Guiu. But again, that feels a little bit... They've heard that he's looking for a move in the Championship, and the Championship is... People will think Leeds because we are looking for a number 9. So are West Brom, so are various other sides. So it feels like we won't be in for Marc Guiu as a sort of big signing. Maybe as a last minute if Cameron Archer doesn't happen kind of thing. We'll get on to Cameron Archer in a minute. But David Anderson of The Mirror, who tends to be reasonably accurate, says Leeds are not in for Chelsea's Marc Guiu. They still have an eye on Cameron Archer, but Southampton have so far refused their loan offer. Interesting. And there's additionally a question of... Someone said in the comments below, why was he left out of the matchday squad yesterday? This feels like it'll be a loan move to somewhere. I have no doubt that he's going to make a move because he's not going to get those Conference League minutes that much anymore, because obviously Chelsea are going to actually push for that trophy now and register some of their proper senior players. But it feels like one of those situations in which we won't be super interested because we've decided where we are interested, and where we are interested is Cameron Archer. This is the big conversation that's been going on, and there's been a little bit more of a discussion going on around it today because there's been a little bit of sort of update stuff on the Southampton side. I'm going to have to find the specific tweet, but I can't quite find it. This is quite funny as well. Sorry, I've just read half-hearted boos from the Brentford fans every time Archie touches the ball after he rejected a move to them in the summer and joined Spurs instead. You're Brentford. Come on, let's not get uppity. Yeah, the thing with Cameron Archer is apparently Southampton are looking at securing a loan move for Danny Ings. Danny Ings, who was formerly at Southampton, did all of his good stuff at Southampton. And since has had his career sort of collapse a little bit, is now currently at West Ham, I want to say. Yes. Where he's not had a very good season so far. Played 263 minutes, most of them off the bench, and he scored once. He's gotten 2 assists. But I think Southampton are in that position of we just need a big striker that's going to make the fans feel good, and that feels like that's more likely to be Danny Ings than it is a Cameron Archer. If Ings comes in, presumably also to take a sort of rotational role because that's what he's been playing at West Ham, that feels like it could potentially be end of the day for Cameron Archer at Southampton. At least it would look sensible for that to be the case because you don't want to just keep signing players that aren't going to play any football. So that could be the step that makes Cameron Archer happen, in my opinion, at the very least. But Cameron Archer is not the one who has been part of the main discussion right now. No. But I'm going to dive through a few of the comments first, just because I like to keep up. I can't keep up with the flurry. The flurry is rapid and unending. But I will talk about how I'm going to deal with the flurry a little bit later. Ooh, I'm doing a little tease thing. Wait. Messing with my friend, he's said he's not expecting anything at the airport, but could change in a few hours. I mean, they can use cars, I guess, but I reckon for anyone like a Spertsyan, that would be overseas. It's Jew, I believe. Matt Guiu. I don't know. Not coming to Leeds, wages are high, and he won't play Championship football. He's come from Barcelona B for crying out loud. Yes, Barcelona B. And I don't think any of the other sides in the Premier League would want to sign him, and this is a fairly good point as well. They don't play the best of teams in the conference. Servette are not bad, but they've also played Ghent, not the worst. Panathinaikos, eh. And then they played FC Noah, who they beat 8-0. Heidenheim, not a bad side, but then you've got Astana, Shamrock Rovers. It's not the best of teams that you're going to be playing against when you're playing at that sort of level. So there's some decent sides. I would say he's probably at least championship level. Development and Leeds don't go hand in hand, fellas, so stop there. Archie Gray, Crescencio Somerville, Willie Nonto, Pascal Struijk. 4 players off the top of my nut that developed incredibly well last season. Yes, development and Leeds do go hand in hand. Let's stop pissing about and making things up. Difference in quality is tremendous. That's my point. You won't understand if you only know about English football. Oh, Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab, you've made a decision here, friendo. Now, assuming that we only know about English football is the big step here. Because as my job, I cover non-English football. I'm just going to run you through some of the list of matches that I've covered over the past couple of weekends, and we'll get to a place where it's like maybe I might know what I'm talking about on this one. West Ham have Evan Ferguson now. They could get West Ham striker at Saints. Yeah, that's the thing. It would free up Ings to go to Southampton, and Ings would free up Archer to come to Leeds, but the whole thing is very, very confusing, I believe. Right, let's check this. Let's check the last month, and let's go to me. Okay, run me through which of these events sound like English football. I'm covering Milan versus Inter this evening, Espanyol versus Real Madrid yesterday, Getafe Sevilla, Montpellier versus Lens, Barca Valencia the weekend before that, Lazio Fiorentina, Rayo Vallecano versus Girona. I had a little bit of City versus Chelsea in there. That was quite fun. Saint-Etienne versus Nantes, Atalanta versus Napoli, Juve Milan, Lille versus Nice. I can stop at any time, but weirdly, I know a bit more than English football. He played for Barca B. Come on. We can't even put 2 more on the bench. Schmidt can't make it on the bench, or Giavogi be dropped. I think Giavogi is the one who would accept being dropped because he knows that that's his role. He was here as a free agent, as a just in case we need something at the last minute. So it's a bit. Archer's Southampton's second leading scorer on 2. Yeah, it's not. It's It's not great. A few moving parts. Let's get Archer at last minute window. This is what I think is going to be the case. I think things are rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, and things will end up in the right place, in my opinion, but we'll have to find out. Hello, Ellenbeck. Why do you always leave it late? Sheffield United won with 2 of their new signings combining. Sure, cool. They also won 1-0 against Derby, who are not a very good side. Derby, who are very probably getting relegated this season. In fact, I'll have a look at the table. Yeah, Derby, who are probably getting relegated this season, who've lost many, many, many matches in a row, and they still only won 1-0. So Sheffield United at the moment do not feel like a side to be feared. They feel like a side that is a bit. Sure, the new players can link up, but at the same time, we did better than they did in the summer window. So it's a bit. I'm fine with leaving it late. None of the players that Sheffield United signed would be preferable, in my opinion, for us to have signed. There's an argument for Cannon, but I don't know how his pressing is and stuff like that. I said it weeks ago, and I'm still right. We won't sign anyone until summer. I still think we will. And if that's a weird name, Rummy Up. But if we do end up signing someone, then I fully expect you to pop into my deadline day stream tomorrow and be like, "Yep, my bad, I was wrong." And I will say that I was wrong if we don't sign anyone, because I think we will. Why do I have a goose on my bookshelf? That's because I'm a silly goose, obviously. No, I got it as a. What button did I press there, and why did it bring up Archer? Anyway, yeah, I got it from a friend. It's also a magnet underneath, so it holds things up. So hold on. I've got a fork from my dinner last night. There we go. So I can hold forks now. but it's just a nice goose, isn't it? I want to be wrong, I really do, and we will be holding you accountable if you are. And I also hope I'm right, but if we're not, I genuinely think we'll be okay anyway. So it's okay. But there is the one deal that I haven't mentioned yet. That is a pretty big one. That if we do it, I will think that is probably the best signing that any side has made this window, aside from maybe Lafy, because the Lafy one was a weird one. And this is Edward Spertsyan. Edward Spertsyan is currently at Krasnodar. And I'm going to bring up his numbers again, just because I kind of forgot them. He is an Armenian number 10, can play out on the wings. He's very good at playing all over the place. And has been widely regarded as one of the best footballers in the Russian Premier League at the minute. Now, this is where we get the slight issue, right? We get the slight whoopsie of Russian Premier League, because there was an issue where you couldn't sign anyone from the Russian Premier League for an extended period of time, because in theory, all international payments at some point needed to go through the Football Association. If you're paying someone internationally, you would need to do it via the FA. That regulation has changed, so now it would just be an agreement between the two clubs. The money transfers, the player comes over, sorted. It feels moderately hanky-janky as a thing to be giving cash to Russian clubs. That doesn't feel great, but on this one, by the way, this is a good point, that Leeds have denied that there was an interest in Spertsyan. However, I looked a little bit further into that claim, and I'm going to have to find it again. Oh, where's it gone? There we go. Right. Rather hanky-panky. Sean, calm down. Down, boy. Okay, this specific link came from Sport Witness, who are a source that I always think are a little bit iffy. Never been quite convinced by them. And the story goes as follows. Leeds United being linked with a late window swoop for Edward Spertsyan is causing a bigger fuss in the Russian media than that local to the Championship club. The midfielders club, Krasnodar, are currently top of the Russian Premier League, but it's a very close battle. They have 39 points, as does Zenit in second place, with Spartak Moscow on 37, and Dynamo and Lokomotiv both on 35. Therefore, it would be a surprise for them to sell, and he's generally thought that he'd stay until the end of the season. With all of this context, Russian TV channel Match TV decided to contact Leeds to simply ask if the claims have anything behind them or if it's just another rumour in the rumour mill. They report that the reply they got was, no, that's not true. Now, I don't know how I feel about this entire shebang, right? Because I understand that, like, to have a media organisation say, we contacted the club and we got a reply, is like, sure, cool, fine. But A, the 49ers have lied about interest in moves in the past. And B, I don't know how I feel about Russia's Match TV. I'm going to have a quick look at the website and see if it looks anything like reliable. But as far as I'm aware, it's one of those that's quite iffy. Like, to be... And I've just hopped over to that website and I'm just seeing what's going on it. But you've got examples of things that they're shouting out, such as, for more sports news, follow us on Telegram. The only things that happen on Telegram are scams, drug deals, and there was a third one, crypto scams. There we go. So that's a little bit suspicious. Yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling on that. It's not great. Look, I would... What's my favourite MiG? Because that's right, this is going to get a little bit military nerdy for a minute, right? Cold War era jets. I'm a big fan of the MiGs. Like, I've got an Airfix. There we go. I've got an Airfix MiG 70? 70. That I started building back here. Just because, like, look at this thing. It's such a nice plane. It's such a pretty plane. But that aside, yeah, sod it. He's coming over in a MiG 17, even though it's a one-seat plane, and I'm assuming he can't fly a MiG 17. I'm not touching any of this. You are absolutely incorrect, but cool. That's the one I read. Yeah, it's. I don't feel like it's the best of reports. And this is one of the other things that link it, right? So when Daniel Farke was at Krasnodar for a few months before Russia invaded a country, they did that of their own free will, by the way. NATO didn't hold them at gunpoint and say, invade Ukraine. And they were like, oh, no, sorry, we'll have to do it. He did it by choice. But Daniel Farke then immediately left the country being like, ooh, this is bad. But the 2 months with Spertsyan made him sort of go, oh, I like you. And he's held a little bit of an interest ever since, apparently, which is kind of good. Never heard of Telegram. That's for a reason. Names, but no action, 11th hour signing again. That's not a bad thing. Look at the players that we have signed in the past few windows at the last minute. So Leeds United signings by date is what I'm going to be searching. There we go, FOTMOB has it. So, towards the final days of the last window, on the 27th of August, we signed Mana Solomon. On the 30th, we signed Tanaka. And on the 31st, we signed Schmidt. Not bad signings at all. Before this, I can't go to previous seasons. Oh, FOTMOB. It's really annoying. Did B Soccer have it? Probably. There we go. Final days of the window before that, we got in Gruev and Kamara and Jayden Anthony, who all played a pretty reasonably big part in the squad. And B Soccer doesn't have anything beyond 2023, which is really good. But we also need to remember that our signings in the past at the last minute have included Willy Gnonto, who is very good at football, and Rafinha, who is very, very good at football. So late signings are not necessarily bad things. Had Airfix kits as a kid myself. I know, they're great fun. They're just relaxing to do, although there's too many parts sometimes. I think if Spertsyan wanted to move, it'd be top flight somewhere, possibly Spain. I think the issue with that is, and there is something behind this, because we've heard clubs that are interested in Spertsyan, and that includes Lens, includes Juve, includes Napoli, includes PSG, and Ajax specifically said the only reason they didn't sign him was because they legally couldn't, at that point, put the funds towards a Russian organization. Whereas I think legally we can. They said it wasn't an issue of talent, it was an issue of, like, law. But I think if we can get that move done, it feels like one that we will absolutely dive in for. And I would love for us to be able to do that. It'd be fantastic. Any truth in Oscar Gluck going to Leeds? I've seen absolutely nothing about Oscar Gluck going to Leeds. I would love it from what I've seen of him on Football Manager. And reality, obviously. But, like, I've signed him in the past and he was very, very good. But that doesn't look likely. Because having a look through news surrounding Oscar Gluck, you've got Atletico Madrid will link with him 19 hours ago. The most recent before that was Man United being in talks to sign him. The most recent before that was Arsenal, Newcastle, Villa. The one before that was again Man United. I don't think we're in that ballpark right now. It would be nice to be, but we're not. We're not in that discussion at the minute. I've heard not a word about Rowe. Marseille looking to offload John Rowe. I wouldn't want us to sign him because we signed better in the summer. We couldn't sign Rowe, so we signed Ramazani and Solomon, and neither of them are bad signings in the slightest. I think we've done significantly better. Solomon, our best player at the minute. Wish Radrazani had more minutes. Who, sorry? Alan Buck? Remind me, who do we wish had more minutes? I'm assuming you mean Largy. Otherwise, we're going to have some problems. Could Nonta maybe plays a 10? No, I wouldn't fancy it, to be honest with you. Like, I'd rather we get an actual number 10 that can do number 10-y things than say, you're a winger, but play on the inside because people want you to get more minutes anyway, and this is a way of doing it. That feels a little bit of an issue. Ramazani getting more minutes would be absolutely fantastic, and maybe he does against Coventry, definitely against Millwall. But to be honest with you, after what we saw yesterday from Solomon and James, I don't know how you squeeze anyone in on those wings. I don't understand how you would manage to. It's tough. Afternoon, sorry for being like, it's not a problem in the slightest. After yesterday, I think it's case for Pereira in the 10, Joseph in the 9. I'm going to say no. But I'm going to say no for a specific reason. And the reason I'm going to say no is because Piru wasn't on the pitch with Mateo Joseph when he played those absolutely delectable through balls. I think it's still important to have Aronson in that position to do the pressing and do the running that he does because he's absolutely relentless. Like, there's potentially an argument for giving it a go, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily wise to call Piru a 10 at this point, because at that point you're basically saying, and we don't need anyone to replace Aronson if he gets injured, because we desperately do. Because Aronson goes out, you drop Piru in at the 10, you got Mateo at the 9, and your spare number 9 is very probably injured. So it's tricky, it's tough, it's difficult, but yeah. I don't know where I'm sitting on it. I think, yes, that system can work, but I think the reason it did work yesterday is that Cardiff had already been thoroughly pumped, and we were giving other players a bit of a rest. James only has 16 months on his contract. We should be topping his contract up. I imagine we will do. But as was mentioned by Farke when he was asked the same question on Junior Firpo, I think he specifically said that now isn't the time to be talking contracts of existing players. It's time to go beyond that. So looking at players that are outside now, and then we can look at players to bring in the meantime. I phrased that badly. I know what I mean, and that's what counts. But yeah, it's one of those complicated questions, I think, of when you time it, but I absolutely am convinced that we are going to do something with Dan James. I don't think we let his contract expire. Sign in the summer, no doubt. I think he signs in February, March kind of time. I think if we get promoted, there is no way we leave James by the wayside, because James is good enough to stay. Without a question, for me. 1 second. I've been tagged in a thing that I need to check. I've got to work out a timing of a thing. Hold on. Okay. That should be fine. He's one of our. He absolutely is. Like, he may be from Hull and he may have played at Scum for a bit, but to be honest with you, I don't blame him for that Scum move. Like, at that point, you're not going to stay at Swansea, and his value doubled, and we couldn't afford him. So he's going to want to improve his career a little bit. Between who we replace Firpo with in the Championship will be different to who we replace him with in the Premier League. I am confused. I think either way, whoever we replace Firpo with has to be of Premier League standard, because we will keep looking at getting promoted, even if we don't this summer. And I feel like we will, but who knows? 10 more wins does it for me. How many matches are left? 16? Something like that? Let's have a look at Flash score. Oh, that hurt. Oh, Jan own goal. Absolutely delicious. Spurs leading. Right, where are we? Championship. Cool. Standings. Give us 10 more wins. That's 93. 93 probably gets you up even if we lose the other 6. But I think 10 wins is optimistic. 10 wins is a win rate of just under 2/3, I believe. And I'm just going to quickly check LUFC data for something. In terms of contract talks. I'm still confused, but that's because I'm an idiot, so it's fine. Surely Farke would want one season in the Prem. I think so, but it kind of depends, because he's not going to see the Premier League in the same way that he sees La Liga, and if he's got interest from Betis and apparently I heard Sociedad, then wobbly, I'd say. Right, let's have a look. Managers, all-time records. This is going to take a moment to load. There we go. The highest win rate of any manager in Leeds United history that has been appointed as a permanent manager is currently held by Daniel Farke, with a win rate of 57.5%. So I'm going to say, let's assume we keep that win rate up and keep winning at the same rate. That's 9 wins. 9 wins gets us to 90 points, and that's not accounting for draws, so I think that would probably do it. I say 8 wins and 8 draws, it's easier. Is it? Because in that case, that's being completely unbeaten, which is nuts. That's not one that you tend to see. But on the Spertsyan thing, it's one where it would be very, very nice if we can get it done. But the fact that there's opposing reports is spooky. We've just got to hope that said opposing reports are not accurate. But then again, said opposing reports are from random Russian media organization that I've never heard of that want me to download Telegram. So I'm going to ignore them for now and pretend that I haven't heard them, and I'll just go la 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 la, and that'd be very nice. We don't want 8 draws. Yeah, that's also true. Context is key here. Let's start different leagues and more difficult. Right, okay, so in that case, if you're looking at Pep Guardiola, and he has a 60% win rate in La Liga when he had Messi and Neymar and Suarez, all playing together. But at the same time, there is someone managing, it'll be Simeone probably, managing Atletico Madrid, gets a 55% win rate with none of those players. In that case, sure, I agree. But it's not about the different leagues. Because at the same time, Revie had a list of the best players in Leeds United's history. Just a long list of fantastic footballers. And then people at the same time say, yeah, well, Daniel Farke's got a squad that's better than this league. Yeah, Revie had a squad that was better than the Premier League. Come on, apply context fully. And I'm not saying he's the best manager in Leeds history or anything like that, but I'm saying the amount of people that are saying sack the guy when we keep beating teams convincingly week in, week out is ridiculous. And people will say, like, stuff along the lines of, well, the performances are crap. We just won 7-0. And let's be honest, it wasn't that much of a different performance to normal. We just finished all of our chances. And then you look a little bit further on and they go, yeah, well, it's results that matter. That statistic tells you the results. And the results tend to be quite good. We've also had the most goals per 90 of any manager, fewest goals against per 90 of any manager. This isn't a best manager in Leeds history chat. This is a maybe we put our trust in the guy that's doing pretty damn well chat. Leeds are on 41 goal difference at the moment, which is +3 over what we got for the whole of last season. Yeah, which is insane. Like, those numbers are stupid. We already have a higher goal difference than Ipswich did when they went up, and we have, I think, 7 fewer than Leicester did last season, and that's with 16 matches to go. So this is going to be great. This is going to be great fun. Integrity's been thrown out of the window by some with rumours this window. How do you mean? Elaborate, friend. Putting it another way, 30 points does it? Yeah, but don't want to get into that territory. That's spooky territory. That's spooky, scary territory. You know why that is spooky, scary territory? Because last season, Ipswich went up on 96 points. 30 points now gets us to 93. So I don't want to say 30 does it. 30 probably does it, especially if Burnley keep playing the way that they are. And I do have a bit of a hot take, right? The best signing Burnley could have made in this window would be a new manager. And I know that it's weird to say that because they're at like third in the league, but you don't get promoted with the numbers that they're getting at the minute. Like they've scored like slightly more than half the goals that we have this season. And in terms of expected goals against, they are worse than us. We are, at the moment, outperforming our expected goals against. It's just the fact that their goalkeeper is overperforming so much that I think he's keeping Scott Parker in a job. And I feel like if they have any change in that overperformance, that's where they're going to bump into issues. If Trafford starts performing as anything less than an insanely good goalkeeper, they're going to have problems. And that promotion is going to become a big question mark. And it opens the door to Sunderland and it keeps the door to Sheffield United wide open. And I think they're going to be in genuine trouble if they keep with Scott Parker at the minute. A genuine issue. Where were we? That's a conversation between Dr. Cox and Danny. Farke should have scored 8. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Would you like to see Farke manage Leeds in the top flight? Yes. Because at the moment, we are in a position where we are going to get promoted. It feels like, as a football club, if the precedent you set for the managers that get you promoted is he got us promoted, and then because at a completely different place in different circumstances without investment behind him, he didn't do well. Because of that precedent, we're sacking him. That's a really bad message to send. That message is any other manager that might potentially want to come here shouldn't, because if you do your job, you might get sacked because of something that happened somewhere else before, years ago. That would be a bad idea. So I think we stick with Farke, and if it's not working out after a while, sure, change things. But I think based on this season, the system is working incredibly well, and it'd be worth it to see if the system translates reasonably to Premier League football, because I think it might. Don't mind what points we get as long as it's better than 30. Yeah, this is probably the best take on it, right? Like, you can put a points tally on it as much as you want, but as long as for the rest of the season we are just keeping things ticking over more than Sheffield United and more than Burnley are, that'll do. That'll do for me. Not even that, more than Sheffield United or Burnley are. Or Sunderland. 2 of those. I think Sunderland genuinely might come back into this. That's getting a little bit spooky. Not spooky as in I think they'll overtake us, because I don't think they will, but I think they're genuine contenders to go up automatically here. I don't think they're going to be dropped as easy as some people think, and I wouldn't mind seeing them get promoted, to be honest. Win all our home games, will be almost there. How many home games have we got left? I'm going to guess 8, because we've got 16 matches to go, but sorry, I'm going to count them. I'm going to be boring. No, for some reason I've selected Sunderland there. Go to Leeds, fixtures. Right, Coventry's away, then Millwall is at home, but it's in the FA Cup. Then Sunderland, West Brom, Millwall, Swansea, Preston, Stoke, Bristol City. 7. So we've got 9 away matches. Win those 7, that's 84? That's 84 points with 9 matches to go. And if we've played 37 matches and we're on 84 points and there's still any question about it, bad. If he gets promoted, he deserves a crack. Yeah, this is it. Like, he's done his job well enough at this level to deserve a pop at the next level. And that's how it goes. If we went out in February, it would be very smooth sailing. I wouldn't... I don't want to commit to saying things like that because that's where things get spooky. But based on the current table, a win against Sheffield United puts us 5 points clear at the top. And a win against Sunderland puts us 11 points clear of them. Admittedly, they've not played this match week, but even then, a win over them would put us 8 clear, which is not a bad spot. Realistically, Burnley should let us and Sheffield United have autos because Burnley will walk the playoffs than Wigan at football. I don't know. I don't know if they will walk the playoffs because I think by that point because they are so reliant right now on the individual performances from the back line because they do still allow chances through sometimes. And they're so reliant on those individual performances deep on the pitch that if any of those players crack under the pressure, they are in trouble. And at the same time, like we've seen from our own experience, Blackburn, not an easy team to play against. Sunderland, still a pretty damn good side. West Brom can cause any side problems on their day. Borough, they beat us 3-0. Like, I know it was in the League Cup and I know we had the repair thing, but they did still beat us 3-0. So I think if there are Burnley fans that are looking at it and going, yeah, it's fine, we'll just win the playoffs if it doesn't work out, I'm not convinced. I'm not. If you got 1 point for every goal you scored, Burnley be near the bottom. Let's have a look, actually. Where would Burnley be in the table if that happened? No, they'd be mid-table, to be fair. But then again, they have only scored 7 more goals than Plymouth, which is not a good place to be for a team that's third in the league. He does deserve a crack if he gets us up, but it'd be on a short leash. I bet when we go up, we'll have a tricky start, and fans will be like, give him more time because it's a tricky start. I mean, you can say that, but like, if you're saying he's lost 3 in a row and the 3 are Arsenal, City, Liverpool, obviously he's lost those 3 in a row. The conversation that people will be having is now give him a fair shot for some of the actual games of football that we might get some points from. Because we will have just gone up, and to expect that we'll win those is just nuts. Do you think Sunderland are going to beat Borough tomorrow? I don't know. Have a look at Sunderland versus Borough predictions. Sports Mole, I think 1-1. As do Sports Kida. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to have a look at current form as well. Borough at home, yeah. One second. Results. Middlesbrough at home. Last lost a match against Blackburn in late November. So it could be tough for Sunderland because Borough have made it a little bit fortressy up there, but we'll find out. Leicester had the best ever start to a championship season for a relegated club from the Premier League. 11 wins from 12, as did Ipswich as a promoted club from League One, winning 15 of their first 20. Yeah, those stats are genuinely insane. And we didn't expect this season to be quite as competitive as last season, but it's sort of turning into that, which is scary. A 2-2 draw, that's not a bad show. Yeah, if we can't beat Man City, get rid. That's what we're going to go with. But what I'm going to do is, we've had 129 votes on the poll, by the way, with 40% of you thinking we get one signing in. 31% thinking we don't get anyone, and 27% thinking we get 2, which is not bad numbers, to be fair. This is basically it for me. Like, it doesn't matter who we sign; it's going to be tough anyway, because that's how this works. It's going to be very, very difficult. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through what the plan is for tomorrow before I end the stream. But I'm also going to ask very, very kindly if you guys could pop a like on the stream. That'd be much appreciated. It'll get things pushing in the right direction. It'll get things recommended to more people, and it'd be absolutely lovely. Have Burnley bought any firepower in? They have got Ashley Barnes, and I think someone else, but I can't remember who. Oh, Marcus Edwards from Sporting. Someone in Portugal. Not a bad player. But let's not commit to 24. 24 would be bad. What I am doing is I'm going to start streaming at some point in the afternoon. I might break off at points to hop on other people's streams. So, for example, I know that Joe is doing a stream. I know that Joe is going to be doing streams. I don't know who else is going to be doing stuff, but I definitely am for a good few hours. I don't know whether that'll be a case of I'm going to end the stream or I'm going to like work something out. We'll find out. But we'll see. I'm going to be streaming for as much time as I can tomorrow, and I'll also be doing a bunch of videos and stuff. So as I see stuff come in, I will be doing my streamy conversation on it while simultaneously recording videos. So that should, in theory, mean that if you can't be here for the stream, you can just dip into the videos and around and about. So okay, so I'm going to run a poll asking, does the deadline day plan sound good? Because I kind of want to know your guys' opinions, and if you don't think it sounds good, just let me know, and I'll make tweaks and stuff. Joe, are you only doing lives if it's to do with Leeds or other teams? I think the live stream will be covering as much stuff as I can from the world of football. So if there's anything interesting going on, I'm going to cover it if I can. The video stuff is just going to be Leeds things, because I think that is probably the better way to go about it, just on the like YouTube back-end algorithm-y side that you need to care about if you're doing this sort of stuff. Good afternoon, Kevin. If it's to do with Leeds, there'll be no lives. I mean, why the negative? Come on, let's pull it together. Let's go looking at how strong the 3 promoted teams were last season. Now they're all struggling. Now Leicester are the strongest squad in Leeds last season. Right, running through it. Southampton, across the season, were not as good as us. Finished below us, and beat us 3 times because we didn't know how to deal with them in midfield. We have since adapted, have better midfielders. I think would be better than them in that context. Leicester have been dealing with horrific financial mismanagement, and they had to sell Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, which is not good for them, considering he was such a big part to the way that they got promoted. And Jamie Vardy's a year older, and Iheanacho left, so that makes sense. And Ipswich got promoted primarily on the power of plot armor. Whenever they were about to lose a match, they suddenly weren't losing a match anymore. Yeah, I think if you compare us to them, I think we had the better side last season. We just collapsed at the wrong times. Genuinely, I think we'd have a better chance than they do this season. Because, I mean, I think we're in a better position as a club as well. Like, we've got ownership that will throw money behind it because they don't want relegation either, because even the people that are like, they just want a financial return. You don't get that in the Championship, so they will want to stay up. And by comparison, Leicester's owners are not good. Ipswich's owners are not wealthy enough, let's be realistic here. And also not seemingly like football intelligent enough. Like, they signed Philogene from Aston Villa, making Villa a profit within 6 months when Philogene had done very little in the Premier League. Very weird. And Southampton are just bad. Like seemingly they did absolutely nothing to their squad. So I think we'd be okay, at least compared to them. This is going to be fun to watch as well. Yeah. That's another important note as well. Anyone that spots any interesting stuff on X, Twitter, I prefer to call it Twitter because I don't like Elon Musk thinking that he has power over things. Any interesting stuff like that you see that you think I might not have seen, which is going to be the vast majority of it, please try to tag me in it if you can. On Twitter, I'm at JoeBlackburn42. And if you are able to sort of tag me in the stuff, then I will be able to cover it on the live stream. And if I'm able to cover it on the live stream, then everyone else hears about it a little bit quicker, and we can do a little bit of team journalism kind of stuff. Tagged you a few times recently. You have, I believe. Have you? Not recently. No, wait, hold on. That was 16 hours ago. Oh, yeah. The most recent thing was about the Farke press conference checking his phone thing. And then the Buendia stuff. But that was good to have because it meant I was able to stay more in the loop, which was good. This be the X/Twitter. So if you could follow me on that if you're not already, and then we can sort of make sure that all works out well. Elon Musk picked his nose and wanted to buy it. Yeah, I think we'll do a moment of Questions Corner because someone specifically mentioned a little bit of Questions Corner. I think it was Righteous one, but we'll hop to it. Should Leeds gain promotion, do you think Red Bull increase their investment in the club? As I believe Leeds chairman's been looking for new investors for Leeds. Maybe. Because they'd be able to throw like chunky money behind it. But it's just the extent of the money is like where there's a little bit more question mark. And the background. Sorry, I had to do a thing. Have you seen the Leeds women's score from this afternoon? I have not. What was the Leeds women's score? I'll have a look on Twitter. Let's see if the club have tweeted about it. They haven't, which is odd. But I can look at the match itself. I can, but it doesn't say what the score is anywhere. Okay, halftime 1-1. Thank you very much, Ross. I appreciate that. Over in past Leeds teams will make a five-a-side. Oh God. Screw you guys. I'm having Melier because he's good with his feet, and it's five-a-side. I'm gonna go in the time that I've watched, which is since like, or at least the time that I've been properly like interested. So I'm gonna go Melier because the alternatives are Kiko or Peacock Farrell. Absolutely not. Stroke seems like he's someone that would kick someone quite hard at five-a-side, so I enjoy that. Central midfield Click because that just works for me. Oh, what am I doing at the front? Rafinha, Rutter. That's the five-a-side. Because Rafinha and Rutter at a five-a-side pitch would be a piss take, and it'd be so nice. Check LUFC Women for the women's games. Oh, thank you. I hadn't thought of that. What do you think of Triple H letting Cena be in the Elimination Chamber without fighting for it? It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, it's his final year. It makes sense. When's the next Leeds vlog? You've done Blackburn and Harrogate. I don't know when I'm next going to a Leeds game. So it will be whenever I do that. I don't know what date that is yet, but we'll see. One sec. I'm going to have a look at my wall calendar and try and work it out. So, not off to Millwall. Then it is Watford, not doing Sunderland, not doing Sheffield United. And then you're into March, where I haven't really planned that far ahead yet, so I'm not sure. If we don't go up, do you think Premier League clubs go in for Tanaka? I don't know. Maybe. How many players do you think we need to upgrade? I would say 7 or 8. If you had a chance to be God, would you take it? No. Absolutely not. That sounds... No. Ironically, that sounds like hell. Because I think life has meaning through mortality. And if you had forever to do shit... Like, I'm someone that does well with a deadline. If you're God, you ain't got no deadlines. I ain't creating any universes. I ain't creating any suns. I ain't creating any planets. I'm doing nothing. So no, I think that would be bad. The closest I will come to ever being God is when I play Football Manager. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the stream there. People seem to think the deadline day plan seems like a good idea, so that is much appreciated. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. If you did, pop a like on it. That's always massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're not yet, and you can even be a channel member. It's 99p for a month, and it is genuinely very, very, very helpful. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. And I'm going to end on this. Yes, I think too, but I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow on my live stream. Ho ho! See you later.